Okay, so I like to use a tail bag, detangling spray, and the two detanglers that I use are the two here pictured. Okay, so we're going to start by popping out this tail, just like this. This is good. So this tail was not done too long ago. We're going to start by taking it out. You just want to undo it. It's always helpful to distract your horse quite a bit. They aren't the most helpful in this process sometimes. So that's just my 2 cents. I pull it out, throw that up there, then I get the tail out. I just undo it. Now, this tail was last put up with a rubber band. That's totally fine. My only suggestion if you do it up with a rubber band is that you move how far on the tail you do the rubber band. Sometimes I do it here, sometimes I do it here. It just helps if that rubber band is causing any restrictions, because it can cut off the circulation to the hair and kill it, and it just looks gross to have a bad tail like that. And you might lose an inch or two on the bottom of your horse's tail. So you just undo your tail, you're unwinding. That's awesome. And I just like to fluff these a bit, just because they've been in for 4 or 5 days. I usually do about a week to 2 weeks. If it's rainy or snowy or melting and it's really god darn gross, I don't. Now you're gonna take your detangler, and I like them in these little bottles. They fit right in your pocket so they can stay warm. You're gonna take that, you're gonna shake it up really well. I'll post a picture of it later. And you are just going to spritz this tail all up and down. Then you're going to flip, do the underside. You want to get all parts of this tail. You want to stop there from being any big knots in this tail. Might shake it a bit to get some. There, throw it back in your pocket. Now grab. Okay, you're going to grab your comb. Hope everyone can see this. You're going to grab your comb. One thing you need to watch is you need to twist the tail. This isn't a hard twist. You're not twisting it to rip it off their body. This is so that it doesn't pull out as many hair as you brush. So you're going to twist. That's still a light twist. You're going to start at the bottom. You always start at the bottom, whether it's the mane, the tail, or whatever. Start at the bottom, get those knots out, work your way up a little bit. Untwist the tail slowly as you go. Do not undo more sections until this section is nice and smooth. Okay, now I'm gonna use electrical tape. Do not use any other kinds of tape except electrical tape or a hair tie, okay? If you can get a thicker hair tie from the women's section at Walmart, they're cheap. If you lose it, it doesn't matter. It's more important you don't lose these. Also, you're not taping the entire tail, so go to the dollar store, find some cheap stuff. Now, this is a new brand of tail bags I've never tried before. I will tag the woman or get her Facebook page, and I'll put it under the video so you guys can find these. These are supposed to be waterproof. So all your mares or your geldings who like to lay in pee and poop and mud and just absolutely come in black, I hope to God these work, because I'm gonna be really happy. Hopefully this tail bag has some. So like you can see past stains, I hope. Maybe you can't. Maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. But like in spring, I'm changing tail bags every 4 days. So, goes on top of the butt. You're gonna rub your horse, make sure they know you're there. You're gonna find the bottom of the dock. Let's bring you guys in closer, okay? How's that? Oh, that's much better. Give you a nice view of the booty. The money shot. No, I'm kidding. So you wanna find your dock. Her dock's right there. With these mares, you're gonna pull to the side of the dock, get all that hair. You're gonna put that, you're just gonna let that drop. You're gonna make sure there's no hairs twisted in or anything, okay? Find the other side of the dock. And then you're gonna take one section in your hand, and these are uneven. I can feel this right here, it's uneven. So I wanna bring more hair from this section over. They don't have to be perfectly like there's 100 hairs, 100 hairs, 100 hairs. You want to feel it. You'll get used to feeling it. It's fine. So these all feel pretty good. So your first crossover is loose. And then you just make sure none of your strands are tangled and stuff, and they will be. Sometimes if your horse has a really bad tail, detangle them. Go work them, lunge them, play with them. I don't care what you do. And then come back and do it. So then you're just gonna start crossing over. Something I find very helpful is just to give a little bit of a twist to it. Don't twist it like it's Twister. You don't need it tangled up more. Just make sure these pieces are laying and there aren't a ton of strays. If there are, do your best. Don't do anything funny. Don't try to plait them down. Don't get hair gel. I know a friend who used hair gel to keep her horse's tail nice, and hair gel is not a horse product. It's not meant to be kept in. I do not use leave-in conditioners. I wash her tail with, I think it's Equifuse. I get it from my good friend Allison Braun. She sells it. I use that only in show season. That is my show product. That and Dawn. Those are the products I use on my horse's tail. She's white. Guess what? This tail is not. And in show season, her tail is not white. Her tail bag, I change every 14, sometimes every 7 days. If it's really, really bad and her tail's soaking wet in mud or, you see a monster? Oh, there's monsters in the barn. Yeah. The best thing you can do for the horse's tail to grow is leave it. Leave it alone. Don't play with it, don't mess with it. So, yeah. So I use Equifuse in summer for shows for whitening because she's got enough white that she has to keep herself looking black. And if you have a horse that's a colored paint or it has enough white on it, you know exactly why. So, you braid down here. You can braid any length. I would say a minimum of 6 crossovers. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right here. I wouldn't do any less than that unless if your horse's tail isn't long enough and stuff, that's fine. Just, you don't have to go to the bare bones and stuff. You can leave that little tail, that's fine. So this is when you're gonna grab that really nice electrical tape. And the reason we use electrical tape is because it doesn't have enough residue to really harm the tail. So you're gonna find your last crossover, wrap it over. You're gonna do like 2 or 3 wraps. You want it strong enough to hold it, but you're not straight jacketing your tail in. If your horse gets it caught on something, go looking for a new tail bag. I don't know, go find it. A big thing I suggest with this is I like to fold my tail up just a little bit. So I find one of these sections and I just put her tail back through. And that just helps to keep it out of the mud because she has a widow tail. She's got a thin tail. White horses I find have super thin tails. That's just my experience. So I wrap it in like that. Open your tail bag. If you're nice enough to have a tail bag that's big enough you can put your hand through and unfold it and fold it back. No. I don't know what you're looking for, but don't. No. Stand up nice. No. We're not playing the I'm looking everywhere game. So yeah, just get that fitted. And then find your first cross. See, can you find that? Stick your finger through the bottom. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that, but put that through there. Find the opposite or the other cross. No, you're not moving. No. Come here, folks. And then you're going to put it around. You're going to wrap it around, come back to the other side. You're going to tie it. Tie it again. And if your horse is bad about losing these tail bags, you're going to just fold it right through to help it. Okay? I know you have a hard life. So there. I hope you guys are hearing this properly so it's a good sound. So yeah, just get these and then so then we're gonna have this. That's where it's knotted. It's knotted up, nice. Doesn't have to be super tight, just tight enough, and then you have that nice tail. Okay guys, so we are moving to the mane. So we're gonna do some bigger braids, but we're gonna start by just detangling and spraying our manes. And now we're going to work through brushing it. I brushed her mane yesterday, so it was actually super easy to brush through. So once that gets all brushed out and it's super soft and you're not finding your comb or your brush is catching it all, you can start to get ready to section it. Again, I'm going to be sectioning on a 3-strand braid and using larger chunks. And I'm also going to be finishing with electrical tape, just a wrap or two around, enough to hold it. If she does catch her mane on anything like a fence rail or something, I do just want that braid to come undone. I don't want her to rip out a chunk of mane. I also don't know how, but she got her breakfast on her forehead. That would be Hey Cubes. She's sporting as makeup this afternoon for you guys, I guess. So as I said, I am going to use some fairly large braids here. What you're also going to notice me do is after I've done and I've braided it down and taped it, I'm going to go back up to the top and kind of ruffle it up and kind of loosen it. You do want these braids loose enough so that when your horse does stretch when you're riding or it's eating or sniffing something on the ground, it's stretching and it does not kind of pull or restrict them in any way. That's just a tip I found so they don't get irritated by them and try to rub them out. I know a lot of horses are probably pretty good. If they're a show horse, they're used to these. But just a tip to keep these braids kind of loose. These are to help them grow, not to irritate them or look fancy like a show horse. So, one thing I really follow is I keep my horses in blankets that have hoods, whether it's a rain sheet, winter blanket, or a fly sheet. I really like the idea of covering their manes up, especially if I'm putting the work in to braid them, because if these braids are uncovered, they're going to get caked in mud and dirt if your horses roll. They also are going to get a lot more damage and abuse when your horse maybe eats through a fence or is in a manger type situation. So it's just nice to have them in that hood, so the braids aren't getting rubbed out and stuff. I notice when I don't have my hoods on my horses that they come in, and when I do their manes the next time, I notice a lot of hair fall out. So I just think if you're going to the trouble to do these braids every 7 to 14 days is what I follow by a guideline, depending on the time of year. I think it's just an investment to make sure your blankets and sheets have hoods on them. And I know it is an investment and they are a little bit more expensive, but it truly pays off in the end. I've noticed Ghost has grown such a nice mane over the past few months since switching to the new blankets I have, and I'm really happy with the progressive growth she has. Okay, guys, so that's it for me braiding and doing up Ghost mane. Some tips I just want to leave you with are make sure your horses have a great nutrition plan and are getting all the nutrition they need. Some horses actually might need a bit of extra help in the growth department with their hair. So just maybe look into that with a nutritionist or your veterinarian. Invest in a really good detangler that you're going to be using quite a fair bit. Make sure to use only electrical tape if you put tape or bands on. And make sure you are patient and take the time. This is a very long process and it takes a while for them to grow, but it will truly pay off in the end and you will have a gorgeous horse. I wish you guys the best of luck and can't wait to see some of you guys sharing pictures of your horse's manes. Okay, guys, bye. Thank you.